So hello friends. So in this video, we will look at some last minute important revision topics for polity. So preliminary 2023, anyone who is preparing, you would know that the important subjects are polity, geography, economics, environment, history, science and technology. In that, polity forms a very important key thing. Around, if you see, there will be around 10 to 15 or sometimes even it goes around 20 questions. So we will discuss the topics which are relevant to 2023, and I will say a framework through which you can prepare polity as well. And so my name is Sivarajaragendran. With that information, we'll go into the video. So first thing that you should know, so we are going to talk in terms of trilogy. So what are the key things that you should look at in terms of framework? So in trilogy, first what I would want to say is that last, I think, 2008 to 2022, you can take those questions and you can check those questions. There is a high amount of, and if you see, I'm going to talk about in terms of probability. In terms of probability only, this examination should be approached. This is not a guessing game. This is not something which you can predict. The UPSC is not a horoscope to be predicted. Rather, UPSC should be approached in a scientific fashion to be thought of as probability of some area coming in this time. So first, if you ask me, fundamental rights, DPSP, and fundamental duties, this is a portion which you should, and you would definitely be very thorough, because this is the portion everyone starts with in polity. So this should be the first. The second is this. Last time, if you check the question paper, 2022 question paper, you check the question paper. Last time they have, I think they asked about 1919, I think. So they asked about a question on 1919. So this question on 1909, 1919, 1935, this comes in a circle. So I want you to look at I want you to look at fundamental rights, DPSP, fundamental duties, and these three in a kind of a trilogy. They are not separate, so you should know the significance of that. You can take this as a question in history also, but you please prepare it. Okay, please prepare it. And then article 14, 19, 21. There is a huge number of questions where they are concentrating on. For example, if you see, they are asking a situation. Let us see, right to marry. So they are thinking, and they are not asking what is article 21, article 14, article 19. See, this is not something which they do, but a right to marry. Or they asked about, for example, what are if there is an article or untouchability, or article 19 comes under what? Right to equality, right to right to constitutional remedies. There are six things are there. So in that, one question is there. Article 14 and Article 21 related conceptual questions are coming. So you should know, if right to marry, right to environment, under what article they are asking. And 14 is about equality and equal protection. So you should know a little bit conceptual understanding. So this trilogy should be thorough when you go inside the hall. And the next what I want to talk about is trilogy of definition. The next, and if you see, there is a change. See, you should, or we should, adapt what has see what happened in 2005. This is how it was. There is an evolution, we should not, and there is a saying also, you should not be like a pond, you should be like a river. That is how human beings should be. So UPSC is like a river, it is not a pond. They keep flowing, and when when that is happening, we should also adapt. So they are now thinking about one question, as we spoke about this trilogy. Each thing will be about one question. That is how I am going to think about this framework. In this portion, one question. In this portion, trilogy of definition, I feel one question. In that specifically, last 2-3 years, or 2 or 3 years, I think, this topic on liberty is coming. How do you protect liberty? What is this definition of liberty? And last time there was one word called as committed judiciary. See, committed judiciary, whether it enables liberty? No. Committed judiciary means it is a partisan judiciary. That is what is the meaning of committed judiciary. Committed judiciary, committed to executive. Committed judiciary, not, we will think that committed judiciary means committed to liberty. No, actually committed judiciary, it is the word meaning is partisan judiciary. So it will not have an impact on liberty, or it will not protect liberty. Why I want you to look at all these definition through for instance 2012 to 2022, look at the, and see, one more thing is that where do you go look? Go look in NCERT. Definitions are there. NCERT, I think there is a book on sociology. Okay, sociology, there is a 8th standard or something like that. Okay, so 8th standard or some, see, 12th standard. You look at the definition. There is an NCERT. You will have it in polity as well. The problem is that if I say one thing means, it does not mean the full book. No, now there is no time. I am asking you to look at the definition. You are studying liberty. What is that liberty? You are studying equality. What is that equality? You are studying secularism. What is the meaning of secularism? And if you see this in GS paper 1, okay, GS paper 1, they have asked it 4 times. And the definition, meaning of what is the difference between secularism in India and the Western world is there in the sociology book. I forgot the 8th or 12th, whichever book. So I think not 8th. It should be 12th or something like that. So if you look at that, you will have these definition. But the major point which I want to drive home is that these definitions, one question. So one question from this trilogy. One question already we have, one question from this. And in this, please include parole, parole, bail. Okay, parole, bail, jail. Okay. Last time also I spoke about this. So parole, meaning of parole, meaning of bail, meaning of jail. You can actually include this in this definition trilogy, and one question. Okay, one question. Then the trilogy of key words that they used. That is, for example, this you should be aware. See, when you are reading a question, look at what they are talking about defined in the constitution. See, certain things are defined in the constitution. Certain things by meaning which if you see, they will be there in the constitution. Certain things will be mentioned in the constitution. See, mentioned in the constitution, whether there was one question, office of prophet is defined in the constitution. You know, office of prophet is not defined in the constitution. And there is also many other question. Last time, I think last time 2022, this question came. They said that different types of ministers, cabinet ministers, and these all other ministers are mentioned in the constitution. If you closely watch, this is not that is a different 4 types they gave. Okay, they gave 4 types. And 4 types it's mentioned in the constitution. They said council of ministers is mentioned. You know, council of ministers is mentioned. Cabinet is present. The word cabinet is not defined. See, look at this. It is mentioned in one of the articles in emergency. And one of the other questions was budget is mentioned in the constitution. So Budget is like this, defined in the constitution. Defined means they would be elaborating it, whether untouchability is defined. So like that, they will be elaborating. But you should look at this trilogy very closely when you read this question. This is one question they are asking. In the last 2018 to 2022, again, if you watch, that is what I'm saying. See, you should adapt yourself. And mentioned in the, you look at that. Okay, what is the difference between defined and mentioned? Is that mentioned is just the name will be there, but look at budget is not there. Okay, this time look at that, derived from that. And the next point is that derived from the constitution. This is an elaboration. If there is something, so you are having this protection of environment derived from the constitution. Protection of environment, protection of many other things have been elaborated by widening the base of Article 21. So derived from the constitution. This trilogy, this meaning you should know. So one question from this. Okay, one question from this. Next is trilogy of keywords is that this time this basic feature, Keshwananda Bharati case. There was a huge debate about this Keshwananda Bharati case, basic structure between the executive and the judiciary. And there have been several questions. So they have already asked several questions in this, but I do not know whether they will repeat the same questions. But basic structure, evolution, what and all, Golaknath case, then the Keshwananda Bharati case, Minerva Mills case, what and all happened. So there is in Lakshmikant, there is a wonderful table. You can check that table. Okay, keywords trilogy, one question will be there. Separation of powers, this was the question they asked last time. And the separation of powers is mentioned or defined in, it is in DPSP, not in fundamental rights. So see, what I am trying to do is that you have a framework. All these things that we are discussing, I am trying to find the, find the way through which UPSC will come through, the way they are going to think. Last time separation of powers came. So Keshwananda Bharati case has also been asked several times, but look at them in totality. Look at, see, separation of powers is part of basic structure. So last time they have asked 2022 basic separation of powers. But now you think about in terms of basic structure, what are the features are there? Rule of law. This also is very, very key. Rule of law. So there is a concept where, all this equality before law, equal protection of law, and one more thing, rule of law. How is it? What is the meaning of that? See, trilogy of keywords, I feel from these one question will be there. Okay, one question. Next, so trilogy of appointment. This time there have been current affairs. There have been so many appointments. This time president was appointed. How the appointment takes place. Vice president was appointed. So vice president being the chairman of Rajya Sabha. How this is done, and then this has been a debate in November, December. Okay, November, December. This was a debate. How a chief election commissioner, how they are appointed, that is, they are appointed by the executive. And there was a constitutional case, okay, constitutional case in Supreme Court asking for a panel to be appointed for a panel to be formed for appointing chief election commissioner and the election commissioner. This has been given a go forward. No, last month this has been given a go forward. So look at how the appointment of CEC is done. Vice president is done, president is done. I feel one question from this. Okay, one question from this. Next, trilogy of parliament. Parliament, as you might be aware, next year parliamentary elections is going to come, and the new parliament is also being built. Last time this new parliament in terms of history was asked. I think not last time, I think 2021. That is under how the parliament building is designed. So there was a question on that. So this time, look at these delimitation commission. In 2012, they asked this question. You have the definition of delimitation commission in the yearbook. Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere. In the yearbook, there is a chapter on polity. In that, this definition is there. Even if you are confused, you can just look at that yearbook. See, again, the the point of this examination should be, I am not asking you to go for the entire entire book of yearbook. No, I'm asking you to check the chapter on polity. In that, delimitation commission is there. In that, and also look at the committee, because this JPC, this time joint parliamentary committee, there is a huge uproar in the parliament asking for that. But I don't want you to look, see, JPC, you look at JPC, that is joint parliamentary committee, that the definition itself is there. But I maybe look at that estimates committee, parliamentary PAC. One more public undertaking. But public undertaking, what all these are related to economics, so you should know in terms of how this all these things are working. So in general committee, and then look at this concept of increase in numbers, because see, there is now because the number of seats in parliament, the MP seats, have been frozen according to this number of seats, according to the census of 1917. But now it has to change. Now that is why the new parliament building is also being done. So what is this? So number of MPs is done or frozen by 1971, and how the constituencies are divided. A constituency, how, which census, whether 1971 or 2001, so, or sorry, 2011. Okay, which, so see, number of MPs divided by, so number of MPs is around 5. If you see the parliament, how much 545 they are. So they are going to increase the number now. So how the numbers are defined for each state. So this state, Uttar Pradesh has 80. So Tamil Nadu has 40. Bihar has some other number. Means under what number it is, or what census it is defined. But constituency division, that is, this constituency in this place is divided according to this zone. That whether 1971 or 2001 or 2011 census. So you look at that. So in terms of parliament, please, I think one question. This delimitation commission also became an issue of Jammu Kashmir. Jammu Kashmir was, or the seats in Jammu Kashmir, there was a delimitation commission for that. So the difference, what is the constitutional power? Okay, what is the constitutional power of this delimitation commission? Look at that. Then trilogy of disqualification, as you might be very well aware, yesterday Rahul Gandhi was disqualified according to this article 102 and Representation of People's Act. Look at the difference. So who disqualifies under this? Okay, who? And who disqualifies under article 102 10th schedule? So there is a case in Supreme Court regarding the disqualification of members in Maharashtra Assembly. This is a very important case which is happening. But the point is that last time they have asked, so 2022, they have already asked the question on 10th schedule. That is why I go for this disqualification. 102, that is a disqualification based on yesterday conviction based on Representation of People's Act. Rahul Gandhi was convicted in a court of lower court for 2 years, and hence Representation of People's Act section 8 clause 3 was applied. Okay, section 8 clause 3 was applied, and hence the disqualification happened. So look at that disqualification. 10th schedule last time they asked, and the Representation of People's Act, as I told you, I feel one question from this. Okay, this disqualification, who disqualifies? For example, here speaker. Okay, 10th schedule, the disqualification is done by speaker. Who is doing it in 102 clause 1? You check that. Okay. And then trilogy of court, this time there were so many appointments. See, there is the number of judges was increased. So number of judges was increased, and there were so many appointments. The court is performing in, now you have the full court in Supreme Court. So how the appointment collegium system, there was a huge uproar, huge problem about this collegium system. So how it is done, what is the difference between collegium system in Supreme Court and High Court, how these additional judges, additional judges in High Court, how they are appointed, look at that very closely, very closely. And one more thing, see, there were so many court cases under article 142. I think there was a question in 2019. 2019 there was a question about article 142. This is a article where Supreme Court can do justice in any case. Justice, total justice, natural justice for any case. So what is the significance of this article? This time, look at this. Look at this question. Appointment, yes. Collegium system, yes. But in this chapter 142, what is that? That also please look at it. Trilogy of Governor, this also has been an issue for a very long time. How the appointment is done. So pleasure of the president. So you should know in terms of how they are appointed, what is the qualification, because there have been so many problems in the reservation of bills, because many of the state bills are reserved, especially in Tamil Nadu. If you see, state bills have been reserved for a very long time, or they have not been returned. So what is the time period? What is the time period in which a president, or you can look at president also. What is the time period that the president and the governor has to take for returning the bill? Or should they have, or do they have a time limit? In terms of reservation of bill, when the governor reserves the bill, what are the conditions necessary for reserving the bill to the president? So these two things, because it has been in news in Tamil Nadu, and as I said, appointment, appointment and qualification, and also look at whether the governor has the power to appoint ministers, or in a sense, if the governor has the power to appoint any minister, that or he says that I cannot appoint a minister, because this became an issue in Kerala. Can the governor have the power to say that I don't want to appoint this person as a minister because that person has, gone against the constitution? So that was the reason which was given in Kerala. So can the governor do that? So this chapter on Trilogy of Governor, I think one question, please look at this question. One question. Then the Trilogy of Protection. See, last time, so this was a question in 2022. This was the fifth schedule constitution they asked, but this time I look at sixth schedule because Ladakh is asking for, so there is a news on Ladakh asking for sixth schedule status, and there is a huge protest in Ladakh. So, and also in Jammu Kashmir they have found lithium. Lithium reserves have been found. So these two things, you please club it. See, lithium has been found in Jammu Kashmir. There is a view that sixth schedule Ladakh they are asking. So if you provide sixth schedule status, what is the consequences of providing sixth schedule status? Is there any other place where sixth schedule status has been given other than Northeast? Because sixth schedule Northeast, fifth schedule is center of India. So look at these in totality. Totality. So see, lithium is separate, this is separate. This both issues I am not clubbing. I am saying think about in terms of that. And language and culture. This time protection of language. This time look at this. What are these language, that chapter on language, because 2016, 17, so 15, 16, 17 and all, there were a lot of, or one question, one question on language, but suddenly there has been no question on languages. Look at them. Protection of minorities in India. This was a question. So this was not a question. I'm saying this was an issue in Supreme Court. That is, who is a minority? whether there is a language minority in India or only religious minority. Okay, whether language in India or minorities in India are defined by language alone or religion alone. Next point, languages minority defined in state wise or center wise, religious minority defined state wise or center wise, that is India wise. So whether you define a religion minority in India or state, whether you define language minority in state or center. So look at that. So one question in this. Okay, one question. So Trilogy of Emergency, this again last time, so one question, I think last time financial emergency. So they asked about financial emergency. This is a mandatory provision. This is a mandatory provision that everyone should read. So emergency, please read that. Trilogy of Power. See, recently, I think 2020, 21, 22, this division of power, and in GS also. Okay, GS paper 2, it's not only in prelims, GS paper 2 also, last 2021, 22, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. The powers of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, already we saw that delimitation and the number of seats, how they are happening. Now look at the powers different. See, last time they have asked the question. Okay, I am not saying whether we have to, but look at it. And this time, as I said, speaker, the power of speaker in this 10th schedule has become a very important issue in Maharashtra. It's a constitutional case, and hence this has to be looked at. And this was one of the question in 2020 also, 20 or 21 GS paper, that is GS paper 2 in mains. So this all this are connected. So look at that. Okay, then trilogy of clearing, that is how do you clear. And before that, I would want to say one more trilogy. I think one more trilogy you can note it down. That is what is defined in the Constitution, or this is a constitutional right. What is a constitutional right, legal right, fundamental right? This trilogy I missed it. Okay, I missed this slide when I was making this. I understood that this is also one trilogy we should look, that is constitutional right. So you voting, this time there was an issue in Supreme Court, Article 326. So whether, and it has already been a question in 2017, I think 17 or 18. See, numbers, please do check it, which year. One question is there, whether right to vote is a constitutional right or a legal right. There was a question, and it has been an issue in Supreme Court this year. So, and it is a constitutional right because Article 326. What is a legal right? If you see, MNREGA is a legal right. Okay, MNREGA is a legal right, and the fundamental rights are defined in Part 3. Okay, fundamental rights are defined in Part 3. The right to property is now not a fundamental right, rather it is outside the fundamental right. So this is the thing that you should know in this trilogy. And how do you clear this examination? There are 2 months. Okay, I think 2 months are left. You will hardly have 60 days. In this 60 days, you have to divide one revision, so 30 days at least one revision, then 15, so one revision, and you have to complete in another revision. So you please divide, this is the minimum. Okay, minimum. There will be this last week I am leaving it off. Okay, last week one more revision. Okay, last week one more revision, last day or the day, that is morning 6 a.m. to maybe 8:30 a.m. on the day of prelims, 6 to 8:30 a.m. Possible just a small revision. So this many revisions are necessary to complete what is the most important task of civil services examination, that is to go through the first stage of preliminary, the first stage of selection, that is preliminary examination. This is for polity. I will try to all this discussion I'll try to make for economics and other subjects also. Keep preparing. All the best, and do not think about whether you're do not think about this guessing tricks. No, think about or important, only important topics I will look at. Think about the framework. You should have a comprehensive understanding. Only then the question in the question, or the questions in the question paper will appear logical. Otherwise you will have a lot of gaps in your knowledge which will not allow you to get answers in preliminary hall cannot be done by guessing. So please keep preparing. Do not waste even a single day from today. All the best. Thank you.